And so I'm going to show you guys everything, and I'm going to try to show you everything that I've made in my 4 years of college as an art major. I'm going to start with the really weird sculptures that I had to make. I don't even know, like, I think I called this piece like chloroplast or something. We had to copy an object that we had, and I had a houseplant, and we had to make a wire sculpture. I don't even know if you can see it. This is a wire sculpture, and then we had to make another exact wire sculpture and cover it in plaster. We had to make a sculpture in like a modeling design program and then replicate it with foam board. So this was what I made. I don't remember why I made this. I think this was final for one of the studio classes, but I think I was showing the duality of something. And you can see there's like a nature scene, and I did all these like layers. And then I set it up and I cast a light down into it. We had to copy an object that we had that was like a common object that we use, and this is a block printing roller that I have, see it rolls. And we had to copy it into a 5-scale foot-long object that was like made out of cardboard. So I spent 70 hours making this giant roller. It does roll. See, I even copied the letters. I'm gonna try to insert a video of me rolling down the hallway with it. That was really cool. But like, I've talked about burning it in like a fire pit. I think that'd be kind of cool because it's all cardboard except there's a wooden dowel rod that I put in here so it would roll. But like what? Like I'm 6 feet tall and this thing is huge. What do you do with this? I don't know. I also took a ceramic studio class, which I really loved. It was a wheel throwing class. So I'll just start with I sold a bunch of the stuff I made in this class, but this is what I have left. Here's a plate, and I did all the designs and stuff. I would really love to do more ceramics. If you're in Maine and you know where to do ceramics, let me know, please. But look, all this stuff, and I just kept the ones that I liked the most, and I would like do little ones, like designs on the back too. And this was my signature that I had on all my certain bowls that I kept, that I made. I really like this one, and it's like, there's like a texture design on it too. And this bowl is probably the most even one I made. We had to make lids. We had to make like vessels with lids. I've given a couple of them away, but this is one that I still have. And then I made like a little like, it doesn't sit super well because it shrunk weirdly in the kiln, but it's like a little vessel. Oh, I still have this guy too. This lid fits well. I really liked this one that I made. This is supposed to be like a cabbage that I made. The glaze didn't turn out well, so I went over it with acrylic markers, but it's supposed to be a cabbage. You see like the little top of it, and then the handle is a little pink worm, or at least it's supposed to be. So I really enjoyed this, but it does look not super functional, but it's a cabbage. I did make 2 teapots, and so this is one of them. The lid is kind of wonky, but I don't know, flowers, what is the design on here? But I made this, and I think it was the final project in the class was to make 2 teapots. My professor was awesome. I also made this guy. It does not pour water super well. What am I saying? It does not pour water super well, but, and it's a little lopsided, can you tell? Like I put this on weirdly, but it's a cool piece, and I really like, I used like a wax resist on the bottom to make these designs, and the lid fits decently well. I made, I think 5 mugs, but I gave a bunch of them away, but this is the one that I still have. I would do like little designs. Those like my like flowery designs I just like to doodle on things. These are just little containers that I made. Anyway, pottery. Oh, this one I tried to do something inside of it, but the glaze got kind of messed up. This was a class that I was in. It was one of the fundamental classes for the art majors, so I don't remember what we did. I made this little like green thing. I can't remember what it was supposed to represent, but it's like pieces of paper and I stacked them. It's like a little box. This is from the verse that's like, dead bones come to life in the Bible. If you're religious, you might know what I'm talking about. What's that stuff that they use for flowers? The like green foam. I carved it out of that. It was a mess. And then I made these little flowers, and the dead bone is coming growth is coming from the dead bone. I thought it was cool. I still have this because I think it's kind of cool looking. I 3D printed this like little temple thing. I don't remember what, but this is the same project. And I guess the temple's catching on fire. I don't remember it was flowers, but it was for that class. But my dad broke it, so now I just have this like weird glass painting. I keep talking about the same sculpture studio, but basically that we had this one project. I think it was due in like a week or two. I spent so much time on this project. He gave us a piece of wood and then told us to make 7 sculptures out of this one piece of wood. We were allowed to use dowel rods too. And they all had to fit certain criteria so that we could learn how to do woodworking like joinery or... And I only have 3 of the sculptures because I didn't like the rest of them and I gave a bunch away and I think I threw some away. But this is my favorite one. We had to make a representational object and his name is Fred. He's a snail. I think my professor asked, what did he ask? Is this like a frog or something? He like asked something crazy and I was like, this is clearly a snail. Yeah, but all this like different work that I did designing him. Love this project. Well, I didn't love the project, but I love this one. And then I also made these. Like a lot of them weren't allowed to be representational, they had to be more abstract. But I think this one still kind of looks like a flower and I don't know what this is. I don't know. You know, this I'll show you guys my drawings next. I was a 2D concentration though, so even though I had to take some cross-concentration studio classes that were 3D like ceramics and sculpture, I did the majority of my stuff into like drawing and painting. I'm going to show you guys some of my drawings. This was the final for my drawing 2 class, I think, and it's a 5-foot long drawing. It's so big I can't even fully show you guys, but it's supposed to represent like different moods and like the duality of a person. So you have like me smiling on the right, me screaming in the middle, and then just me like straight faced on the left. Do these actually look like me? I think they kind of do. And then I don't know why I added the flowers. I love flowers. That's something you're gonna see in my artwork. It's just like flowers everywhere. But I think it's a cool drawing, but I don't have anywhere to put this. And like, I don't want to hang up a giant image of myself screaming. But yeah, here's a close-up. Can you see it? I don't know. I'm gonna whip out my thick portfolio just for you guys. I don't even remember what's in here, but it's probably drawing 1. Oh, there's probably stuff from printmaking in here. Probably drawing 1, drawing 2, drawing 3. Did I do a drawing? I definitely did a drawing 3. So we'll see what's in here. You ready to see some bad drawings? So this was my 2nd semester in college, freshman year during the pandemic. I was in drawing 1. And basically they like reteach you how to draw. And I really, really struggled this class. My professor though, amazing person. So I'm gonna show you guys these, but they're not gonna be that great. Let's get into it, shall we? This is a self-portrait. I made my nose too long, so I had to like cut it off. Can you see that line right there? And I remember I sent a photo of this to my mom when I was making it, and she was like, who is that? And I was like, it's me. She was like, doesn't look like you. We had to do line work. Ooh. Sorry. We had to do line work of still lifes, and we could only draw in lines. Couldn't do like shading. And I do think it's helpful for learning to draw, but I like struggled with it a lot because I just wanted to draw things. So yeah, just line work of still lives. So if you are going into college as an art major, oh, and then we also did line work of like portraiture, which honestly, looking back on it, it's kind of cool looking, but I think this was India ink and we used like, oh, what do they call those things? You know when you like put food on like a stick? Still lives, drawing 1, we had to do shoes. Honestly, I look back on these and I thought they were really bad. I'm looking at them now and they're not that bad, but it's just like, you can't really make shoes look incredible. Here is, we had to go and do like a room and do like a observational study. Is that what they're called? And so I did stairs. And then this is another still life drawing of the But this one, I think we were allowed to cross hatch. See, look at the cross hatching. Honestly, I love cross hatching. I love shading. So I was so excited when we got to that point in the class. I was like, finally, I get to actually draw. They brought in those like plaster casts of famous sculptures. So this was a drawing I did of one. Oh, I think this was my like final project for the class. We had to do the line work. And oh, that was the line work. And then this is the actual drawing. Shoe still life. So we would literally stand in class for 3 hours. We weren't allowed to sit. I really didn't like that. And the charcoal we used wasn't like a pencil, it was like a stick. I did not like that about this class. Still life drawing of sheets or like fabric or something. Honestly, the texture is pretty cool, but like what am I gonna do with that? One of those plaster casts that I drew. Honestly, this was cool. Honestly, I really recommend trying this type of drawing. You go in, and then for the highlights, you use a little eraser. Drawing of that man again. Drawing of sheets again. This is another shoe line drawing. I think this was that final version of the still life. I just found it, but look, we couldn't actually shade. We had to use cross hatching. This is a self-portrait I did in drawing too. Did I make my forehead too big? Can you guys tell me? I think I did. But anyways, I think this was an image I took like in front of a window and the blinds were leaving like marks all over me. Oh! This is an image of my friend Amelia. Honestly, I like this drawing. And you can tell I was starting to use like yellow pencils in my charcoal drawings, which really add like a cool depth to them. I don't know what's in here, but okay, it's a self-portrait of me. I think I did this in the beginning of drawing too. It doesn't look like me. Not really. The drawing I did for class, I can't remember why. What's this? Do you see what that says? It says Lorelai's cry count. I was not doing well that semester, apparently. Being an art major, just like, it doesn't seem like it should be a lot of work, but it's just like hours and hours and hours of just working on projects. Oh my goodness. These are all still lifes from drawing 2. This was a photo on top of a wine glass. We did look like a reflective object of water and like looking down on something, so that's me, it's my mom. It's not a metaphor for anything. My professor thought it was a metaphor for alcoholism. It's not, don't worry. Put up pieces of our classmates' faces and put them together and drew it. That was pretty cool. We did it around Halloween too, which is even funner, kind of like a Frankenstein thing. And then this is a still life of reflective objects. But we got to do color on this one, and I was like, yay, I don't have to draw in black and white anymore, yay! If you see my paintings later, you'll realize that I really love color. Here's another still life from drawing 2. This one's fabric, like hanging. Another classic still life from drawing 2. You got a pumpkin in some blocks. So I also had to take a color theory class my first semester as an art major, and we had to mix the different like colors, and I liked that class, but we had pop quizzes. He'd give us a paint swatch, like a little like paint chip, and we would have to match that color and mix it within like a couple minutes and turn it in. But I didn't fail. Random stuff from that class. I do not like this stuff. But I think we had to stick to 4 colors and it had to represent the 4 seasons. Okay, so I also took a printmaking studio. It was in intaglio printmaking. One of my favorite parts of that class was we used copper blocks and we etched them. And then we would dip them in acid bath to like, I'm not explaining this, but anyways, I made a copper acid bath print. And here is the print that I made. See that? It's me laying on the grass. And it's supposed to be portrayed like this, so my arm looks long, so it like is like falling. I also did a copper plate for a little toad that I saw that I took an image of. And then the acid wash kind of looks really cool on this. And I also played with like doing a green block of print before. But here is, I think we like used mat board and we like carved things out of it and added things. And this is a house and a car. But it's not great. I think I got a bad grade on this. But this is from printmaking. The process. I think I put leaves on like a thing and rolled over them and then pressed it. Can you see? Can you see that? This was really, really cool. Honestly, I might have to make a video of this to show you guys how to do this, but we used the milk cartons and then we carved away like the layer of like shiny stuff, and I made like a little fishbone scene. But we used a milk carton. I think I have a YouTube short posted of this on here, so you can go see how I did it. While I was in college, I also spent a semester in Orvieto, Italy. Don't have a lot of stuff from there though because it's hard to bring things back to the States. But I did take a printing class there also. This is just what I have. I think we had to take images of like the local town and like put 4 of them together. I don't know. And then this is just a block print that I made. Alright, I am going to show you guys all my oil paintings next. I'm going to attempt to go in the order that I made them. Oil painting is my specialty. It's what I love to do, what I'd love to do as a career, if that's even possible. So my first oil painting class in college, my professor was like, I want you guys to pick 10 fruits and veggies and give me 10 paintings the next class of those fruits and veggies. So here's the ones I have left. I have a strawberry downstairs, but I'm not gonna go get it. This is a peach, cucumber, blueberry, grapes, and I either threw away the rest or I gave them to people as presents. Because next in that class we did still lifes. I'm missing the first still life I made. I don't know where it is. It's of a block and it's in black and white, but this is the second one we did. It was drapery. Basically my professor set up a bunch of cloth and drapery and we painted it. So here's mine. And then we moved on to colored still lifes. So here's this guy. This was like a weird plain toy fabric of like a glass jar. You can see it. It's okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but... And then we had to pick a color and do a still life. So I chose like pinkish colors, I guess. And then we did a still life. There's another one. This is a skull. We did this. This one took me like 22 hours, I think. And then we had to do one in an hour and a half. So this is that still life. Like that's the section that I painted in an hour and a half. And then this is the like 22 hours, I think. So interesting to see that comparison. The professor was like, let's do some portraiture. Jay, you guys used to painting people, so we literally would have a mirror and have to look at ourselves and paint ourselves in like a half an hour, 40-minute time frame, or depending. So these are rough guys, okay? They don't really look like me, but here's one of them. This is my favorite one. Does it actually look like me? Kind of, I guess, but there's all these. This is not great. Don't even talk about this one at all, you know. All of that is painting one, and for the final for painting one, we had to replicate an old painting. So I chose this painting from the 1400s. I think it's the 3 archangels and someone. But I chose it because this guy's got a little fish purse right here. Isn't that cool? So now I believe we moved on to painting 2 in studios, and I think we started with these. Basically we had to choose like a really weird reflective image and paint it. This is a 4x4 painting, and it's abstract. Can you see? That sounds kind of cool. Sorry, I can't even see what I'm showing you right now. It's cool, but like, it's so huge. Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? Like, oh, excuse me, here's my 4x4 of a painting. If anyone wants to buy this, hit me up. And then our professor was like, okay, you can basically do whatever you want now. You just have to be making good progress. I was not getting good grades in this class, by the way. I don't know, but I was putting a lot of effort into it. I completely forgot. I think this was actually the final for painting 1. I don't know. I think I definitely made this in painting 1. We're gonna do an image of us. And this is me, baby me. It's not a great painting, but it's me with my Uncle Paul. It's a memorial piece. Then we started getting to do what we want, so I started just painting things. This is me and my brother. This is my mom and her grandmother's at her wedding. It's really special because my mom's side of the family used to be conservative Mennonite, and before that they were Amish. So My mom was the first woman in her family to never wear a head covering, these things right here. Painted my house, my family's bed and breakfast. This piece is really cool. I really like this one. It's a stylized self-portrait. It kind of has like a 3D effect. I would love to do more pieces like this, but this piece was kind of a nightmare to make. Got all the, I'm gonna give you a zoom in. I even tried to put my freckles in there. The flowers and my earring, everything is like, I think I did a Photoshop image and then I painted it, but yes, I think I spent 32 hours on this painting. Finally, for the end of that class, this was my last piece. And it's an image from my home in Maine, nearby my house, and I just warped it and played with the colors, and it's a dock, and this is like the coast, and but it's really fun. I would love to do more of this stuff now that I'm graduated and I have free will of whatever I want to make, and I don't have to make anything for professors anymore. That would be really cool. Now we're in my senior year of college, and I have senior studio, and so I'm making pieces to hopefully develop something that will be my senior showpiece. So I started exploring traits of family and time and relationships. This is me. This is my mom at the same age. I tried to like do the exact same like profile view. I think it's so cool. I really enjoyed this piece. And the colors, that I did the colors like that because I tried to print out a reference image and it like messed it up, and I thought it looked really cool, so I kept it that way. Continuing that theme, I made this piece, which I really like this piece. My professor really liked this piece. It's also the same thing as the last piece, but it's my brother and my father at the same age. So this one is my dad trying to do a handstand when he was like 20 at college. And then I had my brother come over to my college apartment. I was like, you need to wear a white beater and black shorts, and I need you to do a handstand for me. And he like could literally not do a handstand. He's really like sporty and athletic, like 6'3" guy. Literally could not get up on a handstand. I had to like put his feet up on the wall and he kicked down. So this is all him kicking. It kind of reminds me of the book covers, like the Animorphs. You know what I'm talking about? But anyways, I also made these two pieces. These pieces are kind of bleh. You know, they were in my senior studio at the same time. I morphed my mom and her three sisters' faces into one AI generated person and made this piece. It's kind of fun because of like the leaves in the background, but it's also kind of creepy, and it's like, it's weird because it's not a real person, and no one in my class really liked this piece. And also, I'm not sure purple was the right choice for the background. This piece, I was playing with just like optical stuff and tried to make it look fuzzy, and I don't know. It's my family walking. This continues with a theme of like generational family ties. So this is my grandmother and I at the same age. This is my grandmother, that's me, and we're sitting back to back. Does that really look like me? I think the jawline's a little off, and maybe the forehead. You see that? I don't know. I don't really think it's right. But anyways, this is us at the same age, and it's like the duality because we're so different. My grandmother was raised Mennonite, is Mennonite in the sweater. You can see her cap. And then there's me, an art major in college. I decided to do a voiceover for this part because I was not explaining my senior show super well. But basically, since starting college, I've lost dozens of loved ones. So in the fall, I started making paintings of family and friends that reference this loss. I wanted to find a way to honor those that had passed, and this led me to take images of past loved ones and distort the past loved one with bright fragmented colors. This is the first piece I created last fall featuring my grandfather. I chose to highlight him in reds and yellows because I wanted the pieces to be upbeat and colorful, but also to commemorate the loss on him, but not dwell on its sadness. You can see that I distorted my grandfather with lines and markings, which soon led to dots and pointillism in my final pieces. I ended up titling my final exhibition evocation, which is the act of bringing or recalling a feeling, memory of image to the conscious mind. I continued to distort those who have died with pointillism and bright fragment colors to bring forth this feeling of evocation. While those that have passed are gone, we still have the legacy they have left behind, our memories of them, albeit fading, we will continue to cherish. We can fondly remember why we love them while also acknowledging the empty space their passing has created. By highlighting instead of passing my paintings, I wanted to bring attention to this and commemorate their absence. So I ended up making 9 pieces that are representative of this. This is Lorelai from the future. Completely forgot about multiple classes that I've taken. These were the 2 books that I had to make for my illustration studio. This one we had to go to a location that we could go to a lot and do live drawings from, and then create a little book about that location that we were doing live drawings at. So I chose the pottery studio, which was on campus because I didn't have a car to go off campus somewhere. Some people did like local coffee shops and stuff. That was really cool. And mine was an exploration of the pottery studio by Lorelai Pryor. And my roommate Izza right here, she was in the pottery class at that time, so she's in like all of these. And I started the book out by trying to go in like a sequence. So I first show you the pottery studio and all the important things of it, where things are located. I show you where the pottery wheels are, which is the pottery room back here. Then I start by showing you how to recycle the clay, separating clay, reclaiming it, preparing clay to throw on the wheel, kneading the clay, weighing it, and then finally they're throwing on the wheel. And I did all these drawings live with an ink and a parallel pen, which are really cool if you've never used a parallel pen. And then after they throw it, they're making glaze, they're trimming the thrown pottery with the tools, and designing pottery, carving it, and then you have the finished pottery pieces after they've been fired in the kiln. Yeah, so that was my little book. And it also opens like an extremely long line. Do you see that? Or it can fold down into a little book like this, and I hand bound it. This is the other book that I made an illustration. It's called Dead Come to Life. We had to pick a Bible verse, and so mine was the section in Isaiah. I don't even remember what it was about. But anyways, it's about Isaiah 53. And it's basically an allegory for like the dead desert coming to life, which is in the Bible. So you can see it's like a desert landscape. And I don't even know how to explain my thought process, but it's supposed to be like a children's book. So I made like a desert landscape, and you see like a growth appearing, and the growth turns into a man. And then as the man walks towards this like desolate looking town where these little people are, he's bringing flowers and growth. And this is supposed to represent like Christ and God, I think. And then he's like reaching out his hand, like showing everything he has. And then these are the people in the town. They're like pointing at him. I don't know. And then they're benefiting off of like the plant man person thing. And then they take everything from him. And then he like fades back into the ground because like basically he's dying. And then they cry over him. Water droplets drop onto his face, and he wakes back up again. and then everything regrows, and I don't even know. The end. But this project was stressful. Doesn't make a lot of sense. No. I think the illustrations are okay. Like, look at my little plant man guy. He looks pretty cool. That's definitely not based off my face or anything, because I didn't have anyone else to reference except myself. And I did multiple like little mock-ups for this. I had to do all these drawings. It's kind of a nightmare. That class was really interesting. I had to do a couple other like illustration things for that class. I don't have them. I don't know where they are. I put them somewhere. Something that our professor would do is he'd give us like a prompt for something that people would have to illustrate for like a news article or something. So I made this little gouache painting, and it's like people's identities being stolen, and it's this person like picking fruits off a tree, and it's how old people are a lot more susceptible to identity fraud and theft on the internet because they don't know their way around it. So it's like taking apples off a tree, and then you can see I have like a little person that says like Bob Doe, money, social security, whatever. That professor also one day came into class and gave us some combs like for your hair, and was like, hey, I need you to use ink in the comb to make a self-portrait. So this was mine. My motion design class was like a graphic design class. I am a 2D major and I really struggle with graphic design, so I literally would like do stop motion, but I'd hand draw all these individual frames. So this is like people running or a bird flying. I'd hand draw individual frames and then I'd edit it into a sequence in my graphic design class because I didn't actually know how to do the graphic design stuff. So I'll insert a clip of that now, the cool sequence that I made with that. And then my darkroom photography class is a little bit of a different like media thing, but really enjoyed it. Oh, like that's a photo of my friend I did. This is my roommate. Learned how to develop film, and I have all these like test strips and stuff. You can see. Oh, this is me. But anyways, we develop it in a darkroom, do all the chemical processes and stuff. It was challenging, but I really enjoyed that class. This is the self-portrait I did. Cow. Oh, we did like silver, where you pull the silver from the print to make it toned. I don't even know anymore. Lots of other things that I probably could show you guys that I made while I was at college, but either they're somewhere I don't remember where I put them, or I don't remember what I made, or I threw it away. Yeah. Oh, all the digital stuff that I made, I took multiple like graphic design classes. I'm not going to show you that stuff. I'm not, because I don't really like it because graphic design isn't, so I'm not going to show you that. Yeah, I guess I hope you enjoyed it. I post pretty frequently right now, so I guess subscribe. I guess, if you want to. I mean, anyways, I'm gonna leave now.